Yo, better mic this time. 2022 is coming to an end, so let's talk about my top 5 switches of 2022. Let's begin the rewind of what I have tried and all the keyboards I have built, mainly focusing on the switches in the year of 2022. At the beginning of 2022, we started off with 27,000 subscribers. This is currently my second year on YouTube. Yay. At the beginning of the year, my main driver was the Glacier 80. Literally nothing could beat that board. It has a special heart in my place. Wait, what? It was one of my first premium boards, and paired together with the SOTC switches, nothing could top it. It was literally perfect. So let's begin with the first video of 2022. I introduced the Odd Switch series. Basically a series where I find two switches that look oddly similar but at different price points. The first one was an absolute banger, Echo Jelly Blacks versus the Gateron Box Ink Black V2s. Afterwards, I reviewed the Keychron Q2. It was prime Keychron time when Q2 just launched. In that Q2, I installed the Gateron Ink Black V2s, but it wasn't better than my Glacier 80, so it wasn't a daily driver. In February, the second banger, Echo Mod 007. My first ever Echo board. The thought, the kit, the budget, everything was just really good. The FR4 plate with the Echo CS silvers were just godly. That was when I got introduced and partnered up with Echo. They are really nice people, love you Echo. And then came the second odd switch, Ice Candies versus the Aqua Kings. The video still did pretty well. Aqua Kings was one of my top 5 switches back in 2021. Ice Candies are just as good honestly, so yeah. After that video, I tried to pull off a glasses video reviewing the PewDiePie K1 Pro, but it clearly didn't work out, so moving on. By now, most of you guys know me as the budget guy if you want to build a keyboard, so I decided to do a beginner tips and tricks for budget keyboard guide. Guide to buying keyboard kit with a budget. Yeah. If you watch it now, it's actually crazy how outdated that guide is because of how fast our keyboard market changes. I'm not sure if I should do a second one. If any of you guys are interested in that, then just drop a comment down below, beginner guide budget keyboard. We move on to the KBD67 Lite R3. It was the first release of the translucent KBD67 lights and also my first ever KBD67 Lite. It was the shit, man. It was pretty darn good. I reused the Gateron Box Ink Blacks in that keyboard, and I used that keyboard for like 2 weeks before going back to Glacier. So yeah. In March came my second premium board, the High 65. I was super excited for this. I used the Gazoo Boba linear Thok switches, which didn't really Thok, and there was a minor flaw in the High 65 sent to the content creators if I'm not wrong. There's a minor delay in the PCB for that High 65 kit. So because of delay, I can't play game good. I didn't use High 65. Afterwards, I did 2 odd switches in a row. What was I thinking? I compared the Echo Rose Reds to the Gateron Reds. It was I do love my Echo Rose Reds, so. And the next one was the Holy Panda X's. Drop V2s of the Holy Panda. One of the most popular tactile switch back in the day. I honestly quite enjoy the Holy Panda X's, but I feel like they really need a loop job. You really need to manually loop them. The stock just doesn't sound as good as a stock V1 Holy Panda. Moving on to April is the Echo Mod 007 V2. I was extremely excited for this board considering how well the previous one did, and the keyboard itself was also pretty good. With the main changes in the board being the plate change from FR4 to polycarbonate, and I used the Echo Jelly Whites, the sound profile that I achieved was not comparable to the Echo Mod 007 V1. But overall, still a really good budget board. In April, I also started streaming a lot. Because of Ludwig, I watched a lot of Ludwig, and I just got really inspired to stream on YouTube as well. So I did a bunch of streams where Stream builds the keyboard, Stream buys the parts for my keyboard, review a bunch of boards live on stream, and got them made into stream highlights and uploaded it into the channel. It was actually really fun. I really do enjoy streaming, but it just wasn't performing as well as normal videos, which is to be expected, so I dropped streaming. During this period, we had our second keyboard showdown, and this one had keyboard inside, Scott K, who clearly won. So if you haven't checked it out, go check out. He did some insane hacks and tips and tricks. Then came 15 April, a date that I will always remember because this YouTube channel got hacked by some crypto company, Ethereum Corp something. And after struggling for a week and contacting back and forth with YouTube, here I am back on the channel, so thank you YouTube. At the beginning of May, I had a change of heart. This was basically the start of the inspiration of creating more personalized content compared to reviewing keyboards. And I released the Electric Shock building keyboard thing with Squashy Boy. Honestly, one of my favorite videos to watch, to edit, to film. It was just really fun. just please watch it. Just go watch it if you haven't. The video didn't do extremely well, so I decided to mix up some reviews and some personalized content once in a while, which explains the next video, which is a review of the Next Time 75, a budget 75% kit with a knob. I had a good old Gateron Yellows, throw it into the Next Time 75, but of course it's not comparable to Glacier, so I was still on the Glacier. And then came June. I built a fellow friend a Echo Mod 005 with Kale Jades. Honestly, Kale Jades sound pretty good in a hefty board. In June also came our last two odd switches, the Taxi Carrots, the Tangerines, and the final one was the JWK Ultimate Blacks versus the Gateron All Kings. So as you can tell, since the beginning of Odd Switch all the way to the end, it was just a downward graph of the views going down, which I just guessed that maybe people are just not as interested in switches anymore. So I decided to drop the series. Odd Switch is gone. I'm sorry. It's not coming back. Echo Alice ACR Pro, one of the best stock keyboard kits I have ever gotten my hands on. But yeah, I used the Echo Alice for like 2 weeks and then I moved back to Glacier. Yay. Afterwards, I went back to my journey of personalized content, which made my upload rate fall really low. Instead of weekly videos, I would post like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I came up with the most original video idea ever on how to build the thockiest keyboard ever. In that video was also my first time using the Boba U4Ts, and my god, they are probably one of my favorite tactile switches. The tactile bump is just so satisfying. $30 keyboard kit, the CIY QK60. I couldn't turn it down, I had to buy one off Taobao. The price has increased since then, but the CIY QK60 with the Gateron All Kings just produce such a sound that you wouldn't expect from a budget keyboard kit. In July, I built a Bongo Cat keyboard, let Instagram post, build the entire keyboard, decide every single decision I had to make when building that board. I also started reacting to your guys' custom keyboards. And then came my third premium keyboard, the Windex 98. With the Azuri Dragons. Such a sick combo, both of these together just made the keyboard sound really nice. It was also my first ever Windex board and I was really impressed with the workmanship basically. I didn't use it as a daily driver because I feel like I take up too much space on my desk and I need more mouse space because I'm a Valorant player or something. August, one of my favorite videos I have done was in this month, the Fiverr keyboard video. I hired 3 strangers and got them to build custom keyboards at different price points. In September came the board that would eventually replace my Glacier 80, the Blueberry 65. Gateron CJs, maximum flex on the keyboard with a really nice typing experience. Overall aesthetic just looks so good, doesn't take up too much space on my desk, and it was the successful replacement for my Glacier 80. October, QK60, the second release by QWERTY Keys ever since the QK65. QK65 absolutely destroyed the market, so QK60 was something everyone looked forward to. I got my hands on one. I tried out the neon switches which produce really clean clacks, but I'm not really a clacky person and 60% isn't really my thing, so yeah. Echo SBR 67, a spring mounted board. And this was Echo's first ever board with south facing sockets. The concept itself was really cool, using springs to mount your PCB to get a more bouncy experience. Overall, it was a really fun build, you should check that one out. October came the daily driver that I use to this day, the Terra 75 V2. Create Keeps just never ceases to amaze me. Terra 75 V2 produced a sound that I just never heard before. They gave me their Lotus switches to go with the Terra 75 V2, carbon fiber plate, and I was over my thocky phase, so I'm going into like a different kind of phase and sounds, and the Terra 75 V2 just produced such a sound, I don't even know what it's called, but it just sounded really good. I enjoyed it a lot. In November, I got my hands on the Tiger 80 Lite. I got one of my friends his first ever custom keyboard with the Holy Panda X's. One of my top budget kits of this year is definitely Tiger 80 Lite. The entire building experience is really fun, especially for a beginner. I'm pretty sure it's really simple. In November, me and Squashy also went to an IRL physical store to build a keyboard to see if it was worth it or not. In that same video, I also checked out the Zoom TKL, so if you haven't watched that video, go watch it, it's quite interesting. And in the last month of December, the release of my own board, the Killer 65. I did a video of the Killer 65, a quick rundown, not a review because it would be biased. I did a rundown of the entire board, what we changed, what compromises we had, and how the whole process worked out. GB is still running, so if you haven't checked out Killer 65, go check it out. It's ending at the end of the year, 31st December. So yeah, that is basically 2022. I would say I'm very happy with all the content I've put out this year. I experimented on so much stuff. The variety of content I got to try from odd switch, streaming, reacting, content creation, making my own board. I learned a lot more about creating videos and figuring out my own style. I wouldn't say I have it completely down yet, and also because of my slower upload rate because of mixing reviews and content, this got my subscriber growth to slow down a lot. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because if you are subscribed means you enjoy the channel, and if you don't means you don't enjoy the channel. So if you don't enjoy the channel, don't force yourself to subscribe. So thank you so much to the 60,000 of you who enjoy my content. And it's time to move on to the top 5 switches of this year. Coming in at number 1 is the Gateron All Kings. They're one of the best stock switches I've ever tried. They got released this year. Long pole, so you don't have to worry about north facing. It's just a really smooth switch and I enjoy it a lot. Secondly is the Gazoo Boba U4Ts, one of the best tactile switches I've ever tried. It also produced talkie sounds and the tactile bump is really satisfying, not like Browns. Coming in at third place is also a tactile switch, the Gateron Azuri Dragons. Similar to the Boba U4Ts, really satisfying tactile bump. A little more on the pricier side, which is why it's on third and not second. But the acoustics it produces and how it looks, I really like the color. Coming in at number 4 is the Gateron CJs, the runner-up linear switch. It is also really good stock, but I feel like the sound profile it produces is just not as satisfying as the All Kings. And finally, on number 5 is the TTC Tiger switches. They are really expensive switches, but I am always using them on my spacebars of every single keyboard I have. It just produces such a nice satisfying sound and unlooped because it has like no stem wobble at all and it's like peak. Anyway, this has been a great 2022 and I can't wait for the journey ahead in 2023. Thank you for sticking around, and it seems like 2023 might be the year I hit the milestone of 100,000 subscribers. I actually can't wait for that. I'm probably gonna break down and cry. But yeah, I hope you guys had an amazing year for 2022 as well, and I wish you all the best for 2023. Bye bye. Happy New Year. Bye bye.